This is John Walker from Cancer, and you're watching That Metal Interview podcast. Cheers.
That Metal Interview.
The very first question would be, where are you? What part of planet Earth are you at?
I'm living in Madrid, in Spain.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning. I'd like to start from the very, very start. What's your beginning like, John? At what age did you first pick up an instrument? And what band made you pick up an instrument?
Oh, that's easy. That's very, very easy. Definitive moments in my history when I was young and impressionable would be I went to see Venom in 1985 with Exodus in support at the Birmingham Odeon. And I think that confirmed my, dedication to heavy metal. You know, I couldn't look back from that. When I think coming to the point of picking up an instrument and actually having a go, I think it was when I heard the Hellhammer Satanic Rites demo. Because when I heard that, it was enough for me to actually think, wow, I could actually have a go at that, and myself. So it was stuff like that. First few Bathory albums, and I actually started playing bass. I played bass, and my friend Ian Buchanan, he was playing guitar, and we switched. And the vocals, I actually when Cancer began, I didn't do any vocals until we started Cancer, and that was because the vocalist that we were going to audition for the band didn't turn up for the audition.
Really?
We were like, we're without a vocalist, so I kind of got lumbered with the job, really.
Really? Just so this guy doesn't show up and you become the vocalist, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was kind of the determination to make it happen in a kind of like a satellite town of Birmingham called Telford, and there's not that many people who are going to be into kind of extreme metal at the time, and so basically I ended up thinking, oh well, I'll just do it, and
so. Was this already Cancer, or was this another name, another band, or?
Well, this was Cancer, but without the name. So our first demo was
no cover.
The no fucking cover demo. It was no fucking band at one point. No fucking band name, kind of thing. So it kind of evolved really out of the ether in that regard. Listen, can I just put the cat out?
Yeah, of course, sure.
A monstrous cat is desperate.
Oh, nice.
He's going to be scratching the door and interrupting.
I got a couple of cats myself, so.
So yeah, before Cancer, I used to just jam with friends. There was no bands.
But the question is, this guy doesn't show up. The singer doesn't show up. That doesn't mean you can do a death metal voice. I mean, I can't go up there and say, okay, I'll be the singer, because I can't do that. I can't sing like the way you do. How did you find out you could sing like that, or was by accident, or?
Well, it's been cultivated over the years, James. Yeah, I think it's just having, I'm not sure. I just kind of had a go, really. It was hearing other vocalists with that type of style. I was thinking, well, I could have a go at that.
That's awesome. You got an awesome voice. And so, how about the names for those demos? No fucking cover, and then still no fucking cover.
Yeah, those were just 2 demos. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Whose idea was that?
I think that was Carl's, the drummer at the time, you know, because he was like, well, let's just not think about that. We could be wasting our time trying to think of putting a cover together and trying to, let's just get it to the record labels and see if we can get some interest and see if there's actually any possibility with it. And we actually got signed off it.
Right, yeah. So you got signed after playing the club scene for a little while, or was it directly from the demos?
It was mostly from the demo, the first demo. And we started playing shows when we started getting interest from the record company, but they wanted another demo, and then they wanted us to play in London. So to kind of get to that point, we had to play a few like Quinto Pino areas, places out in the middle of nowhere, you know, and get used to playing live, you know, that type of thing. So, you know, it wasn't straight in there, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, our first show, I think it was in Birmingham at Edwards Number 8. And there was a few people there, you know. But
How was
early days?
How did you have a hard time with singing like that at first for a whole set? Did you lose your voice at one point, or how did you maintain that voice, or how did you get used to it, I guess?
Well, to start with, I mean, with the, I suppose putting the kind of like a discipline, a slight discipline on the voice, was usually came from Scott Burns in those early first albums, you know. So he helped me, you know, structure where to sing and, you know, how to do it. And then in the Sins of Mankind and On Black Faith, it was Simon F. for me. He was a bit of a singer as well, so I had like a bit of an influence from there. I think it was only when I started trying to kind of go beyond my go higher than the bar that I've got, so to speak, that I would actually hurt my voice then. If I'm actually just left to do my natural kind of extreme metal voice or death metal voice or whatever you want to call it, it's quite robust in that form. I noticed when you know, if we do a succession of shows, I don't do so much talking.
Okay.
Just kind of keep my voice, you know.
Don't talk too much. Don't blow your voice.
Yeah. Don't engage in conversation unless you have to, really. So just save your voice, you know. But I've been at a point where I've kind of lost my speaking voice. I did some shows, like consistent shows, one after the other in Latin America, and because we had to fly to each country, the air conditioning kind of like created a real problem with my larynx, and I was having a problem talking, but actually I could do the death voice still. You know, so
Right.
you know, as soon as the gig was over, I was like, I'm not talking. You know, that type of thing.
So is that your regimen right there? I mean, do you smoke cigarettes? Do you drink alcohol, or do you just stay away from that?
I don't do any of that. I have a beer on stage, but that's to kind of, cause I'm quite an introverted guy, so I have to kind of like get into the spirit of the concert. I'd rather the concert be a kind of like a form of celebration. You know, there's nothing better than that. So I have a beer when I play, but not enough to affect my playing, just enough to address the crowd in a friendly, you know, in a bit more of a friendly way.
How about your guitar playing, John? Was it self-taught, or did you take classes from somebody?
No, I'm self-taught, but from the masters. You know, so Tony Iommi, people like that. I've listened to the records. I've got the records out, the old vinyls.
Oh yeah.
Your Motorhead, Venom, big Venom fan, Celtic Frost.
All the masters. Yeah, yeah. So I want to bring up the cover for To the Gory, and when I first saw that cover, I kind of went into shock a little bit, a small shock. The cover it obviously is a machete over somebody's head, and it's just this kind of gory. Whose idea was that?
That was Carl's. That was the drummer. Yeah,
Man, that was.
Well, he could paint actually, and we were from the demos. We didn't really know much about covers at the time, but the story is that we used to get like under the counter VHS horror movies, Italian giallo gore films via Germany. So they went in through Germany, right? So then we get them with the German subtitles on, dubbed in. And so we'd watch these films, Lucio Fulci's, the Argentos, George Romero, which is American based, I know, but the machete across the head, was from Dawn of the Dead, and the funny thing was when it got released in Germany, it instantly got banned because of the image, and it was only sold in a brown paper bag.
Okay, wow.
A cover with a brown paper bag on it, a bit like In Through the Outdoor by Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. Wow, it's just a shocking cover. When I was younger, I first saw that, and wow, it was just incredible. How was it working with James Murphy and Glenn Benton? You had them both on an album, right? Death Shall Rise.
Death Shall Rise.
Right?
Yeah.
How was that? How was the experience?
We had John Tardy on To the Gory End, and then so what happened was we played with Dearside when we were still a three-piece, and when they came over to the UK, we did some shows with them. And we played the Metal Fest with them, the Milwaukee Metal Fest it was. So we kind of knew them, and I turned up at Morris Sound early in the morning to do some vocals, and Glenn was there. And he was. I think Scott asked him, says, "Do you want to do some vocals on it?" And he said, "Yeah, okay." On Hung Drum and Quartered. I'm still friends with Glenn. I saw him at the full terror assault in Illinois, and in Mexico. So we go back a long way.
Oh yeah,
a lot of years. Yeah. So I can still listen to Dearside. They're incredible now. They are.
Oh yeah.
But when I saw them in Illinois, I was absolutely wow.
Big fan myself too. Inverted World, John. April 25th. How's the reception so far for the new single and stuff like that?
Mostly positive. They've been quite vibed about it. So and the first single's coming out this month, so Amputate. But so far, the people that have interviewed me who've heard it and have said they liked it. So
yeah, it's good stuff. What was the writing process like? Who was the one that came up with the guitar riffs, the lyrics, stuff like that? Are you the main lyricist, or?
Yeah, the riffs and the lyrics are mine. So what I do is I started writing after the COVID, and I was asked this question by Sweden Rocks. They said, "How is it different from Shadow Grip?" And I was trying to think, well, how is it different? Well, post-COVID, that's how it's different. And there's a different. We've got a different lineup playing in the group because we had a lineup change after the COVID thing. And yeah, I think it's different in a way that each of the Cancer albums are different, but it's got that death metal growl.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Delivers the goods. Yeah.
What happened to Ian and Carl? They just retire, or?
Well, I mean, they do other music, and to be honest, we live in different countries, and we were there's quite a long backstory to this, James. So you know, but we got back together in 2014, and it was because the record label Cyclone Empire was releasing our first 3 albums. And we said, well, might as well do some festivals, play across Europe and do the festivals. We did the Maryland Death Fest as well. And the gigs kept coming in, and the records got released, and they sold out. And then Peaceville got interested, and they wanted to sign us for a new record. But we were only supposed to do a few festivals together. So all of a sudden we've done another album. We promoted that in the live arena, so to speak. And I think for them it was kind of the end of a chapter. So, and we split amicably. We did a lot of rites of passage together, James. So, you know, there's no hard feelings or anything. You know.
Well, the new band sounds great. So, keep up the good work, right? So who are the new guys? Can you give us their names and for people asking, you know?
Okay, well, there's Danny, my friend, the bass player, who's he lives in Madrid, you know, and he's kind of like he's been around on the metal scene, so I've known him for a few years. He actually did a bit of bass work for my I did another band called Liquid Graveyard a few years back, and he did a bit of bass work for me live, so I got to know him that way. And there's Gabriel. He plays in a band called Wormed. It's kind of like a techno death band from Spain. And he lives in a place called Logroño in Rioja, where the wine is like the fountains of tears of angels. It really is. It's wonderful, beautiful
Spain.
Wine.
Is that in Spain?
It is in Spain, yeah, but it's where that famous wine comes from.
Oh, okay.
You know, I look at him. He's got the, you know, he's got the profile of a gladiator. Actually, you can tell him what he was like in a previous life. You know, so there's Gabriel, and there's my friend Robert, who's the lead guitarist. He came on to do the lead work, and he's a great player and a wonderful person.
Nice. So
I do the rhythm guitars and the vocals, so it works like that. And of course, like live, having the second guitarist, we've got that bit more of a wall of sound in the live.
Did they record any on this album, or did you do all the work, the recording?
I did the rhythm guitars and the vocals.
Okay.
Robert played his leads, Gabriel played the drums, and Danny played the bass. So we all played what we.
So you guys, you wrote the songs, lyrics, and then they had to learn them, obviously. Did you guys rehearse in a room for the recording, or did you just?
Yeah, we got a room, and we got a choice of rooms actually, because you know they play in other bands, so you know, so we turn up, and I've pretty much got the idea of how the song wants to sound before I even get into the rehearsal room. But I know by the end of the day whether it's a winner or a loser, and if there's a point of suicide on my face, and I'm like, oh dear me, it's like the song hasn't worked. But now and again I come out and I go, yes, I think I've got one.
Yeah.
But it's persistence. It's a labour of love, you know. It's a persistence. That's what I'm interested in, is songwriting and putting together stories with music, especially in that kind of death metal framing. And it's kind of continued. you know.
Right.
So I saw you guys just did a couple of shows, live shows. How was making that set list? Was it kind of tough because you got some new songs floating around now? Did you how many new songs did you put? And was it tough doing that?
Well, that was the thing. We played one show in this kind of Swiss Alpine village, Martinet, in Switzerland, French Switzerland. A small club, and then 3 shows in Italy, and it had all been billed by our agent as like the 35-year anniversary of To the Gory End. The problem was we put 5 new songs, the new album in the set because we wanted to play them. And, you know, we're desperate to play them. We're itching to play them and put in the the live experience. And we were quite, I'm just saying, satisfied that the new songs actually stirred up the crowd quite nicely. We saw a few pits erupting, you know, and I think it culminated in Rome. We played Rome, you know. I went to see the Colosseum, and I went round there and looked round there, and you know, saw where the gladiators fought. And we saw those incredible buildings. They went and played this show in this club called the Defrag, and it sold out. And it pretty much erupted. You know, at the moment we started playing Inverted World, the crowd were going for it. And being a fan of Italian culture and film, I was rather, you know, satisfied. I was like, wow, man. I was like,
it's cancer alive. Hey, it's gonna blow up. It's gonna go down.
Well, we kind of got the set just right, but if they were expecting 35-year, you know, tribute to the Gory End, which is like that album from start to finish with no breaks or anything, they were sorely disappointed. But they weren't disappointed. They got something, I think, better. You know.
Oh yeah. So, when can we expect you here in the U.S., John? When are you coming over here?
We want to get over there and get on with the right festivals that can sort us out some, you know, the documentation. You know, I don't really want to go, you know, I need to get if they can get the visas, they can get this type of thing, then it's cool, you know. So I'm ready to do any festivals in America, but we need the documents now because the politics is changing, and the penalties of entering the US under false pretenses now is quite strict. So
it's a big deal. Yeah, people don't know that it's a big deal. You can't just book a US tour and take off in the plane.
Yeah, it's very risky, and with the mandate that Mr. Trump's done, he's got to please his constituents, so he'll be starting with the borders and the airports. So I want to risk it. So I'd love to play the US. I love playing the US. Well, the last gig we played was actually the California Death Fest. Absolutely wonderful show. You know, we played just before Dismember. I think we had the prime spot, you know, because we got the crowd going. So, you know, so I do like playing.
When you travel, when you fly, John, do you guys carry different stuff? Just one guitar, or what do you carry? Do you carry those little new kind of amps, or do you just rent that stuff in South America when you travel, when you fly over there or fly somewhere?
This is to be honest, I just try and get what I can get, really. You know, so I usually put on the rider what type of amplifier that I require, and I'd rather the promoter supplies the equipment, to be honest. I take my own guitar, you know, whenever possible.
Yeah.
So, you know.
This last couple of shows that you did, how many guitars do you carry around? Is it 2 guitars, 1?
No, I play one. I've only got one, and I just change the strings every second show. I'm not playing any leads anymore. I'm just playing like strong kind of rhythm parts, you know, to keep it with the vocal. And so the other guitarist, he plays an SG, and he doesn't seem to worry about breaking strings or stuff like that. So, you know.
Which is your favorite track here off of the new album, John?
Gosh. That's a difficult one, because I love the song Inverted World. I love 39 Bodies, Test Site, Amputate, Jesus for Eugenics, and Corrosive.
All of them.
And then I listen to the other songs and I like them as well. So, but they're all my babies at the moment. So,
yeah.
You know, I think Amputate's been released as a single this month. So, you know, it'd be nice to hear. You know, that's a good song. That's got a story to it, because I actually wrote 3 sets of lyrics for that, because I was so unsatisfied with the first 2 sets of lyrics, and then at 5:30 a.m. one morning I managed to get that 3rd set of lyrics, and then at 9 o'clock I had to go into Madrid and then record the vocals. So it was a bit like a bit of a game.
Is there are you 100% satisfied with the production on this album, this new album, or is there something you would like to change, something you regret, I guess?
Well, in my with everybody's performance, I'm satisfied. With my performance, I could, if you ask me in 6 months, there'll probably might be a few things that I think, well, maybe I could have done that a little bit better. But it's something that it's like a snapshot in time, isn't it? And you know, you don't want to get too obsessed with your own songs. You know, you get neurotic. But anything that I'm slightly unhappy with after a while in the live sense actually gets changed, and the songs evolve in the live thing. But as for the sound, with the production, with the mix, because we got Victor Santura to mix it, I'm super happy with the sound he's got. I think he's got us a tremendous.
Oh yeah, it sounds badass. Yeah, sounds great. So before we let you go, John, what's next for the band, and what can we expect from you guys? And would you like to send a message to your fans?
Yeah, so obviously going to Italy and playing there, I actually want to perfect my culinary master chef recipes. So going on for the next month, and then when the album comes out, I want to promote it, playing some quality metal across the world. That's what I want to play. I want to basically try and get on the good festivals, maybe do some tours, and for all the metal fans out there, keep listening to it and don't let anybody tell you anything different.
Right. So thank you for your time, John. Appreciate that. We'll see you sometime in Texas soon. Appreciate that.
Yeah, cheers, James. I'd like to see you in the Lone State, and
appreciate it.
Have a beer, have a tequila slammer.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, John. We'll see you. A true icon, a legend for the lack of words. Mr. John Walker of Cancer has been a part of the podcast, and I consider that one of my top 5 legendary episodes as far as my 2 cents goes. Your friend James on Planet Earth, That Metal Interview on social media, at That Metal Interview, that is. And don't forget, April 25th, 2025 drops Cancer's Inverted World. Pre-order. Order if you are listening to this on April 25th or after. Download, stream, support John and the guys. Awesome album. I got to listen to it, and it's an awesome piece of art. Cancer Strikes Again. Thank you, John, for being a part of the show and giving us the pleasure of listening to stories from Cancer. Very awesome, very cool. So thank you guys. As far as the podcast, thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you for listening to the best metal podcast on the planet. My opinion, of course. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. Don't forget to keep it metal.
That metal interview.